Yeah, very kind of different thinking actually came up from them as competition and.
Yeah, but like I think mainly one of the differences was already pointed out around it. They asked to slow down.
That is because they could not run.
So that's clearly a difference that he wanted to run and
Take the video, okay?
walk.
Put it there.
They wanted to run.
Eat also in the meantime. He doesn't eat.
Sir, photo भी करते
He doesn't eat. He's like walk.
That's because of something. Can't
Because of that, but we are always hungry, so we thought it's a good idea to stop in the middle and have some.
and the good Russians and good Anyway, who else? More. Nobody.
It was a really good experience for us, and especially like I was working with, we were working along with Andre. So as Sachin said, it's a different approach to things. Like Andre, working with him especially was like he had the thought process of filtering things out initially, and we went to sites and we used to filter things out there. We used to look at the things over there, but he was of the approach initially, but he also realized there aside that it's not the same thing with the Indian cities as it's with maybe with the Americans, that everything is so visible, that we have multiple layers. So it was a good exchange of actually thought processes, even when we were making sheets or we were having some exchanges or discussions. It was a good experience for us and maybe for the great learning experience for both sides. Thanks for us, of course.
Anybody wants to add something to this?
Fine.
That was good.
What I had to say, like Xavier used to surprise us with this viewpoints, anyway, he told us same thing. That is one thing which I wanted to do.
Which is the viewpoint
The
itself.
same thing, like whenever we see something and we see, like me, Anup and Mitali will have one this thing, then he will come up with something which is, may not be opposite to it, but adds a new dimension to this. So
because many of the things are like, we are used to it, like we see it, and so we tend to ignore it. He is like
It's a
used to
habit
doing
for us.
Yes, just like if we see the Vidhan Sabha of Bhopal, so it will be like a awe for us, like Charles Correa building, so nothing can be bad about it. But for a guy who's from a foreign land, he visits the place for the first time, he has his own
That's
point of
actually
view.
viewpoint, without any pre.
I'm just giving an example. He doesn't know who Charles, maybe he doesn't know who Charles Correa is or what that Vidhan Sabha represents, but we have been like taught in the school of art, of architecture, it's the best building design. So we are on that preconceived thought, but it was a good experience to have those.
Can I add something to that, though? Because I think that building really shaped the foundation. But I think when we went to the Museum of Man and we went to different villages, I thought something, for me, something started to click. I saw how space was oriented even from the village level. And then it's like, well, this building has a logic to it. I mean, like, that's, not from the Western tradition. And I started to understand that like, this is the same idea. The space, the way the different, like the housing is, you go through that portico, and then I was like, okay, this is, in essence, a more elegant version of this, but I think without having that sort of that ethnographic understanding, it just seemed like, well, what is this? But now it's like, okay,
No, that's what I'm saying.
I can speak the language, the vernacular
We
thing.
have been taught in our schools, most of us, that,
Yeah.
that the building designed by Charles Correa is like
It's
the optimum thing. It's the best. So it was a totally fresh
Yeah.
perspective to the big things.
School did you go to?
It's like in Bhopal, every building like is compared to Bharat Bhavan, that why couldn't you design it like that? So
That's nice. could also set aside anything about the LIC building.
No.
Anyway, you wanted to say something.
No, just regarding like the food, I think they struggle a little bit without having laptops here.
Yeah, that's right.
All the groups that
So
I
at
think
10
they
minutes
have-
it'll stop,
have
so you need to
laptops.
record again,
This
okay?
time we
I
cannot-
don't know how to
we need
do that, it is
surfing
big
and
button.
surfing and everything.
You
They're
just
running
here you have
on
to click,
platform,
okay.
Each and everything. So
It's a pretty good
at least like next time, if they can have their laptops here, it would be helpful. It's a request for students.
That comes directly to me.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in handwork, in working with hand.
But you see how the
in the line project, so we have to work on that.
Yeah, I want to add something to that because I was actually the only one that disobeyed that order. And I would agree that working by hand is very different than working by computer. And it, you know, with our group, like we mostly work by computer, we thought that we had an advantage to that, but actually it kind of put us at a disadvantage, where we could have just easily just plotted all the information out, scanned it, and then maybe put it on, you know, Photoshop or whatever. So I think, you know, just the methodology of how to, you know, plot data and, you know, save the time actually works better by hand.
So for reading documents, get something.
That's
There are no laptops around.
this was a common notion which we felt.
Well, if we could charge more money for the trip and come to India and buy laptops for everybody, we really didn't want our students to haul laptops all the way from the United States for a lot of logistical
Well,
reasons.
one of the two things that really define urban design, at least the way I understand it, and that's part of the reason laptops don't come, is one is urban design is really about scale. You know, you always go out, you don't focus in on a small detail, you rather look at it at the context. So it works outside the scale of a building, but within the scale of policy. So when you operate at that scale, that at least, you know, AutoCAD doesn't make sense, you know, because the hand does work. The hand and the mind can switch scales a lot quicker than a drawing on a screen can. And the second thing really is you should think more when you do urban design, less, you know, spend less time on actually drawing it out. It's really what is the information you have to think about, communicate. So that's the first part. And the second part, which really is our sole intention for everyone, all the group of the students out here, is urban design is about teamwork. Nobody does urban design as a one-person team. And as you know, the global system of the work changes towards, you know, greater cooperation between different people, it's for you to be suddenly put in a group with somebody, you know, you met a couple of days ago, and be expected to produce work within a very short time in a city that you've never been, is a very useful learning experience. Because it's an experience that you'll encounter in different incarnations through the rest of your life. You know, you'll be working with another consultant, you'll be working with another country, you'll be working, you know, with a different zoning authority in different city. And you have to not only get everybody at the same level, but actually go, you know, produce more work. So that, you know, I mean, I realize there are some fairly stressful situations in such contexts, but that's really part of your learning process. You know, it's like waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning one day, not going for a heritage walk, and then waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning the next day and showing up. Because that's your training for your life as professionals. And that also is part of this idea of this group project, that you're working with people who think in a different way, whose expectations are also different. And same applies for Morgan as well as SPA students. Now, you know, I've straddled both worlds. So, I mean, I do realize that there are those expectations, but really the learning is in not overcoming, but